Thank you very much for coming. Welcome to Meet the Candidates Night. We're deep into our very exciting election season in McDonough. I'm pretty excited and happy that it's a spirited town and it's a very spirited election season. My name is Nancy Brienza Duffy, for those of you who don't know me, and I am very happy in McDonough, as I like to call all of us, for the last 8 years. I'm very happy. I feel very privileged to be part of this town, and I am really very thoroughly excited that this is an election season and McDonough people are involved and are spirited. It's very exciting to see that. This event is hosted by the Kelly Grange, which just passed its 100-year anniversary. It's a very exciting time for us, and we're happy and proud to be here. I joined the Grange as soon as I moved to the town. Because I felt so privileged to be here, I thought it would be a great way for me to be accountable to my new town, and I feel happy again to be involved in it. I met some great people. I still can't bake a good pie, but maybe I'll get there. So the format was decided at the last Grange meeting. It will be as follows. The names of the candidates will go into a hat, and they will be chosen out of the hat by our Grange master, and that will keep this an even batting order, so to speak, so you won't know when you're going to go till your name comes out of the hat. We have a timer here. It'll be set at 5 minutes. We did ask each candidate to stay under 5 minutes. If you are in the middle of a sentence or something, obviously you can finish that, but in the interest of time, we will keep it to that. We won't have question and answer to each candidate. The crowd is small enough, too, that it should be easy. There's plenty of goodies in the back, some coffee. Please do talk with each other, talk with your neighbors, talk with the candidates, ask whatever questions you may have, trade contact information, etc. If you have questions about the Grange, of course, any of us, raise your hands. We'll be glad to answer those for you. I'd like to remind everyone that the Grange, of course, is a family organization. We will keep this in a courteous, neighborly fashion. And again, I'm very excited about it being such a big year for us in McDonough. I wish all the candidates very good luck. And I have just one question. Mr. Neighbor's not here, right? No? Okay, so we have our candidates here. There are 4. Mrs. Tice, would you come and make sure we have 4 here for our council seats, and 3. Is Mr. Harvey DeForest here? No? No, okay, so we have 2 candidates for supervisor, and we have 4 candidates here for council. Somebody want to loan their hat? We'll fold these up and put them in the hat. Wonderful, here's the hat. All right, so fold those up into 4 each. It's a very nice hat. It's made in the USA. Shake them, toss them, stir them around. Jumping out. All right, everybody's in there. We're mixing it like a salad. Go, Mrs. Tice.
All right. The first candidate is our Wakefield. He is number 1.
Yeah, get you down there.
When you start speaking, I'll start the clock.
All right, hi, I'm Raymond Wakefield Jr. I was born in this area and raised in Preston. Kind of have a civic family. My grandparents were both Justice of the Peace in Preston. My mother's a town councilwoman in Preston. My goal is to work with the town board to make things better. I'm relatively new at the political game. I have been a union president and several union jobs. I'm a veteran of the Army and the National Guard. which doesn't really prepare you for this. And I'm not a real good public speaker, but I would like to see improvements in the roads. I'd like to see the town work together and not attack each other. I'd like to see the board work together to make improvements. Don't know what else to tell you. I just would try to do my best and hopefully meet what the town would like, not what an individual wants. I'm under my flag, right? I'm trying.
All right.
Did you say 30 seconds or more?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Stir up the hat. This rate, we're gonna have a lot of cookie eating.
Our Yates.
Hi, my name is Robert Yates, and I'm running for councilman. I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. My wife and I moved onto a beautiful piece of property here in McDonough 14 years ago in a little camping trailer. We had very little besides a dream. We spent our first winter with no electricity or water. I can remember waking up in the middle of the night to stoke the wood stove when our not yet insulated metal roof was frosting on the inside. I still think that was one of the coldest, snowiest winters we've had since. We have slowly built our own home and a successful business from the ground up. We are now a family of 4 with 2 beautiful daughters. When I heard of the possibility of profits from gas drilling in our area, I was excited and joined the Landowners Coalition in hopes of receiving money. After reading about and doing research on the community impacts of gas industrialization, I came to the conclusion that the risks to our water wells, air quality, health, and property values are far too great. I started attending the town meetings to see where our town stood on the issue, and soon realized that the democratic process was not being upheld and that there are admitted conflicts of interest. Although being a councilman is not just about gas, I believe it's the most important issue facing our town. As councilman, my first priority will be to protect the residents from the many negative impacts of the gas industry. Half the town has been asked its opinion on gas. 80% of those asked have voiced concerns. I believe that warrants a more thorough survey to reach out to the other half of the town. Some members of our current town board are refusing to even comment on this issue. This is no way to treat your constituents and no way to run a town. As far as other duties as a councilman, I believe the town's spending needs to be more productive. The town should grow from its spending. For instance, if you wanted to build a better playground, first thing should be to gather volunteers to do the work and use the desire for a playground as an opportunity to build community. The second thing would be to reach out for donations and or grants to keep taxes from going up, but still get a playground. Another idea might be to form a volunteer group to help clean up McDonough. Some people may want to clean up but can't. They just might need a little help. Small gestures like these from several different directions is what it's going to take to put this town back on the right track. Over the last 14 years, and much of the time under the current leadership, I've slowly watched this town deteriorate. It's time to do something about that. You might think the drilling would be the answer to that, but that money is temporary and destructive, both ecologically and socially, and I plan on living here forever. We need to focus on things that actually build community and look towards financial security that is more self-sustaining and long-lasting. McDonough's best resource is its citizens. It's the citizens that make the community. I believe it is the government's job to help its citizens, not with financial handouts, but through motivation, education, and resources that help someone help themselves. As a board member, it is my understanding that the number one job is to listen to its citizens. And if given the opportunity to sit on the town board, that will be my top priority. Second, I will come up with and search out ideas to improve McDonough without spending a lot of money. As someone who has successfully grown a business for 20 years, I have learned how to make smart financial decisions and think outside the box to get things done. I live here. We all want to keep taxes low. Thirdly, I will educate myself on all topics that are addressed to the board to ensure decisions are made wisely and in the best interest of the residents and the town's future. McDonough needs to turn a corner, and I believe the time is now. If you would like to see a fresh perspective and truly honest and transparent government, that tries to include the whole town, then vote for me, Robert Yates, for councilman. I would like to also encourage you to vote for Steve Ellsworth for supervisor and Terry Harvey for councilman, as I believe they have the town's best interests at heart. Thanks all for listening. I'll be staying to the end and would love to answer any questions. And thank you to the Grange for this opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Excuse me. Can we get to ask questions?
You will have question time after all the candidates have, we have 2 hours, so we should have.
That's what she said, while you're socializing.
We're saving them for down.
Steve Ellsworth.
Hi, my name is Steve Ellsworth, and I'm running for town supervisor. I've been a resident of Shenango County since 1974, and I've lived in Greene and Tyner. In 1991, I bought some property in McDonough and started clearing a spot in the woods to build a house where I now live with my wife Karen and 2 boys, Noah and Richard. McDonough needs more than balancing the budget and low taxes. No one wants taxes to go up, and those on fixed incomes can't afford it. As you can clearly see, driving through the town and on the campaign signs, it's not just about the gas. The town needs to come together and create a master plan, a simple, uncomplicated statement of what our town is and what we want our town to become. Frankly, failing to plan is planning to fail. At first I thought that a master plan was like a town's comprehensive plan, which is complicated. Studying other towns in the southern tier, I came across Middlefield's master plan, which is simply 4 general goals. That senior citizens of the township who have stewarded these lands in such a way as to deliver them to a younger generation in a beneficial condition may continue to live here in the manner which they find harmonious. 2, the men and women of the current generation who live and work on these lands may prosper in an environment that's both flexible and secure. 3, perhaps most importantly, future generations shall inherit these lands in a condition which allows for a healthful, prosperous, and an independent way of life. 4, that improvement of land be encouraged and fostered in a manner which benefits the community as a whole, but that development of land in a manner which threatens the health or the well-being of the community as a whole be prevented. My vision would be for McDonough to become a busy, vibrant rural town with businesses, tourism, alternative farming, an educational retreat hosting seminars, B&Bs, and someday a hotel like the old days. These ideas can come together if people will enter into conversation about what's good in McDonough. It can't happen without trying. Other towns are starting employee-owned businesses and cooperatives that are different from corporate-owned companies where all the money stays in the community rather than going to Wall Street investors. Tourism ideas include a county-wide mountain bike trail system that would double as a cross-country ski trail in the winter. A volunteer group would work with the DEC to put the trails in on state lands. For alternative farming, grass-fed beef and lambs could be brokered to natural food co-ops in New York City, where a farmer could get 3 times as much for their cattle than at local auctions. Cooperative packaging by Reed, McDonough, New York, grass-fed beef co-op. Educational seminars. There are residents in the town that have a lot to offer in the ways of rural life, and weekend or week-long workshops could be held on farming, gardening, canning, woodworking, stone wall construction, fly tying, and fishing. I'm sure there's a lot more I don't even know about. I've been accepted into and started in the Leadership Shenango program that the Commerce Shenango facilitates, which runs until next June. Further working toward changes in the town, I've joined the Kelly Grange where we hope to have more educational seminars and documentaries like the last one called Fresh, about grass-fed beef and free-range chickens that moves away from confined animal feed operation called CAFOs in the U.S. I've attended all the one-town board meeting for about the last 2 years, and I've traveled to Plymouth and Oxford to see presentations at their town meetings, and to Caroline for their road use forums that were presented. If we can make our community more sustainable and resilient, we can withstand environmental and economic shocks that may be on their way. Shenango County's clerk of the board, R.C. Woodford, suggested that if I'm elected, I could begin with training material found at the Association of Towns and the Department of State websites, which I will. This training will better prepare me for the new town official orientation program that the county conducts. I'll work to keep our taxes low without zoning, to protect our town from what could be the eventual build-out of hundreds of wells and infrastructure that will come to our county if the gas drilling is allowed. We cannot take these environmental risks with the gas industry's current exemptions from key provisions of the EPA's Clean Water, Clean Air, and Safe Drinking Water Acts. Contrary to the rumor mill, I'll not take the town into bankruptcy. And I was not run out of green. I coach a youth JRC soccer team at the Lions Park in Green right now, and have served on the vestry of Zion Church as a vestry person, junior warden, and senior warden. And previous to that, I served on the board at the Green Community Food Cooperative. I've worked in bridge construction, roofing, framing, trim carpeting, and at IBM, lead technician for 15 equipment service techs, test tech for hardware development group, staying with the budget, or within the budget, programming for hardware verification, and I'm familiar with spreadsheets, databases, and many other computer applications and programs. Thank you, and if anyone would like any information about what I talked about, see me after the meeting. Thank you.
That was wonderful. To go over 1 minute, please. All right, Mrs. Tice.
Canor.
Good evening, folks. I would like to thank the Kelly Grange for holding this so you could all get to meet the candidates. Of course, I think you all know me. My name is Arrington Canor. I'm the president and supervisor of the town of McDonough. I am running on my record of 6 years as McDonough councilman and a total of 8 years as McDonough supervisor. No zoning and low taxes. The town is in a great financial shape. Both the highway and general accounts are up and have improved this every year. We have kept taxes as low as possible, working with the highway superintendent. We have vastly updated our highway machinery. Working with the lawyer in Green, the Emerson Fund was finally activated. The fund usually has between $35,000 and $45,000 interest, depending on market conditions. Some of the grant monies were used to upgrade the church library, Methodist Church, the American Legion, and the food pantry, the firehouse, and the town hall. I am not for or against gas drilling. I remain neutral for all the townspeople. The town board and I want to do a survey, pro or anti-gas. It is illegal for the government officials to do a survey. So what next? The anti-gas group stated they would do the survey if the board and I would enact the town moratorium. While at the county, I was told the moratorium would probably be rejected for many reasons. I told the group so. We had a moratorium set up and sent to the county. The county did reject it. However, the group refused to do the promised survey. If a survey proved the majority of townspeople were against fracking, we would have been obligated to find a way to work it out. The state and federal government already have in place preemptive laws, which they don't tell you about, to override home rule whenever they want to drill. My opponent states he wants no zoning. In fact, October 1st, 2013, of the Evening Sun letter, which I have here, he states, it reads, home rule law allows to zone out areas where gas drilling is not permitted or to ban it entirely. It states all the tools in the town's toolbox, zoning is the most powerful. And that's signed sincerely, Stephen R. Ellsworth. So I wish he'd make up his mind, does he want zoning or doesn't he? The town of Dryden and Middlefield have maximum zoning, about 32 pages, which I have a copy here, anybody can see it. From Middlefield, which he takes a lot of his stuff. You need this kind of zoning to zone out fracking. You also need, you gotta have a planning board, you gotta have a zoning board of appeals, you gotta have a zoning board of appeals lawyer, you have to have a specially trained code enforcement officer, you have to have special insurance involved, a vehicle for the code enforcement officer. All this is very costly. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from you, the taxpayer, and higher taxes and zoning. My agenda is to do what I have for the past 6 years, to keep McDonough affordable for all the townspeople with no zoning. Experience counts, it's more than just gas. If you have any questions later, you can ask me.
Either make me or Terry not.
This is tight.
Mr. Tracy.
Thank you. In case you didn't know, my name's John Tracy. I pretty much know most everybody here. Not gonna take long, 'cause I'm not a big speaker, but my family goes back 7 generations in this area. Been a board member 20 years. Been in the fire department 28 years. I've owned a plumbing and heating business 21 years, so I'm pretty much here to stay. I plan pretty much to do everything we've done up till now. I think the town's running great, so pretty much all I got to say. I don't think they got to draw a name now, Terry.
All right, Terry.
Just recently.
Yep. Mr. Harvey is it.
Just so you don't feel slighted, Mr. Harvey.
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Terry Harvey, for those who don't know me. Lived here for over 40 years now. I've been married to Roxana, formerly Roach. She grew up on Pike Road. We've been married for 42 years. Like I say, we've lived 40 plus years over in East McDonough. Have 4 children that we've raised here in McDonough. A lot of you would have gone to school with some of them, or drove their bus. And that's about it for, I guess the one thing I wanted to mention is back in the 70s and the 80s, I can remember every Friday in the summer months, we would sit on the porch with the kids and we'd see the campers going by to Bowman. And I'd remark to the kids how here are these people coming from Syracuse or wherever to go to Bowman. It's like this was vacation land for them, and we had the privilege of living here. We didn't have to get in our car and go to vacation land. But I've also mentioned to many people, it's been a hard place to make a living. I mean, if you have the good fortune to work for somebody like an IBM or another big company willing to drive, it can work out pretty good. I've been self-employed in the logging business since '86. Before that, I've been in various forms of wood production, forest products, and then working in construction. So, one topic we've heard about, I would just like to mention too, some of the things that Bob Yates and Steve had in their talk, I would agree with wholeheartedly as far as their visions for the town. What I wanted to address is, because I've been on the board for, the end of the year would be 3 years, filled a vacancy for Harvey DeForest. And I had the privilege of coming in onto the board just as the hydrofracking controversy was really start to hit the fan. So it's been an interesting time here. And I guess, even though there are signs, and it's been mentioned about, it's more than just about gas, that is the #1 topic, as far as I can see. That's what has generated the attendance at town meetings. That's what's driven all the political signs we see, and people to get involved in the politics, for lack of a better term, of the town to see what they can do. And I just wanted to give a little bit of a history that back in 2008, I had taken a gas tour with Steve Palmatier up to Smyrna, so I got to see a number of drilling sites, the pipelines being constructed, and everything was put in a very, positive, wonderful way, and all the benefits this was going to produce for the county, for the area. And I thought, this is wonderful. And I did end up doing a well pad clearing down at the Parker well down in Oxford. I cleared the trees for that. And I was envisioning all kinds of, tree harvesting equipment, working on pipelines, working on clearing well pads, and having things go very well financially for my family and I. But then, being on the board, the more people were expressing their deep concerns for the hydrofracking, I just basically sat there still thinking very positive about it. And then when, I can't remember just how, I think it was given to us here at the meeting, the paper Flowback. So I started to read it and look at the pictures, and I thought, wow, if 10% of this is true and accurate, there's a problem here. I better start getting educated. So I undertook the process of, the internet, trying to get educated. Are there problems connected with this? And see, it'll be a year ago this coming December, I took the gas tour down in PA, and what I saw there dwarfed, well, I mean, what was going on up in Smyrna didn't even compare. It would be like nothing is happening in Smyrna compared to what's going on in Susquehanna County. And then I could see, like, wow, I tried to picture that happening here in McDonough, and just realizing how life would change. And it would not be the same town. I mean, this town has weathered the Civil War, World War I, World War II, big events that the nation has gone through. Many people have shed their blood to, in defense of the nation. But the town has still been a rural community, with beautiful farms, beautiful fields, forests, streams, lakes. But from what I can see, the gas industry would change that forever. And as I've stated publicly, I'm against it. This current technology, I am not against developing our resources for the benefit of people, but I just don't see any real long-lasting great benefits from the natural gas industry using this high-volume hydrofracking. I just want to also say that this past summer I struggled with this whether or not to run. And I came close to not turning my petition in. But I've had many people express their thanks, their appreciation for me serving on the board. Of late, I do have people have made comments that I made a big mistake getting involved with these anti-fracking nuts, or words to that effect. So I decided that I really need to leave it up to the voters whether or not I should be on the board. And if so, I'll do the very best I can. And if not, I can leave with no regrets and no hard feelings toward anybody. So that's it. I'll be around here if you have any questions. And I also would like to thank the Kelly Grange for putting us on. Thank you.
We're in the grace period, but we were still within that grace minute. Thanks, everybody, for coming. There's tons of cookies back there. I also have some copy of all the amendments. There's 5, I think, that will be on the ballot. So I would recommend that you grab a hold of one. I'll leave them in the back and familiarize yourself with them so you don't have to read through it all on election day. Okay, coffee and cookies.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
For Mr. Ellsworth, Mr. Yates, Mr. Wakefield, and Mr. Harvey. Now, I know who's paying for the campaign for John Tracy and Arrington Canor. I can see it. I want to know who's paying for you guys, you know, if you're paying for it yourself, okay?
I make my own thing.
That's one question I have.
Okay,
have a
I can
couple.
answer that question.
Okay.
But for all the candidates. What happens when folks run for an office?
I'm
is
aware
Board
that
of-
I run.
Board of Election lets them know that if they go over $1,000 in spending, then it is reportable.
Okay.
So you can ask them all individually if they have received
The other thing too is,
donations. Or if
I'm
they're
on the
paying
Board of
for it.
Assessment Review. I'm the longest standing guy on the Board of Assessment right now. I took a guy's place back in about 2003 when John nominated me, and I did it. And I was a new resident in this area. And I've heard all the things that Mr. Yates said, and I applaud you for it. Been there, tried to do it. Very unreceptive, okay? God bless Eleanor Troike. She set up the first McDonough cleanup day. I went there, the people that helped, and now I didn't see you there, I didn't see you there, Mr. Harvey, I didn't see you, Mr. Wakefield, I didn't see any of you guys, except for John Tracy, Arrington Canor, Zip was there, and God bless his soul, Larry Beckwith. He helped out big time with the town board and the guys. So, what I want to ask you guys, since you guys are all politically involved,
Okay, sir,
what
I'm
was
gonna
the
stop
last,
you.
what was the
because-
last big
excuse me.
thing to happen in McDonough in the last 10 years? Nobody knows. Know what it was? We had a revow, a tax revow here that had never been done since 1972.
Okay.
And I forced that issue to have it. None of these people were at these meetings back then.
Please, the floor was for the candidates.
That's all right.
only. You
Let's
can
bring it out. I
speak
mean, you
individually.
said they could ask questions. Want to talk
No,
about
the
gas?
floor-
Let's talk about the taxes.
The range, pardon me.
You don't want to hear what I have to say?
The range has a range.
Yeah, that's my
Let's not.
Oh, Mingle. I was here for the entertainment. Hey, how
That is true. Guess what? It's good to be here.